Hello chaps and chapettes, how's it going? Carl Screezilla here and I hope you're all well and welcome to a game of World Warships where I'm in a submarine. Yay, I'm in the U-190 submarine. Tier 8, 9, 8. I'm terrible at Roman numerals. Yeah, tier 8. Submarine. Yeah, submarine gameplay. So this is a replay. As you can see, we are a submarine. We sub around. Let us quickly remember to actually set it so that where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What did I want to do? I need to set the things that works, don't I? And what was that again? Full, that's the one. There we go. So, yes, submarines. They're very submarine-y. They go underwater. There's some good things first. The models look great. You know, the Wargaming art department have done a fantastic job. The underwater world looks good. You know, they've done a great job. Yes, they may have added some extra bits of underwater terrain that makes things a little bit more interesting for surface ships where they get stuck for no reason and, torpedoes will actually strike rocks and things under the sea that you don't see and things like that. But I don't mind that in all honesty because personally I feel like that adds a little bit of extra tactical knowledge for those players that actually spend time and focus on areas and pay attention to these areas. They can use them to their advantage or disadvantage, so to say. So anyway, we are sailing along here and we're sort of thinking, where should we go? So there's Megami over there, the Charles Martel, and there's a Baltimore over that side. So we're going to change our minds and go for that Baltimore. So we're going to start steaming over in that direction. Now, being that it's all co-op, there's not really much you can do in co-op because the game matches are very, very short and tend to end very quickly and you don't really have as much strategic gameplay. So I'll be interested to see how subs do in ranked, in all honesty. Anyway, we're sending out our first sonar ping here. Now, if you don't know how the torpedoes work, is if you get a double sonar hit, and then send your torpedoes and they hit sort of, they'll basically go underneath the ship and hit its citadel effectively. So you're going to do more damage if you've got a double torpedo, if you've got a double lock on the enemy ship. So you can sort of lock on to where you want your torpedoes to hit. So we've got 4 fish in the water. The Baltimore's turned in towards us. The homing torpedo should hit it now. Boom, boom. 3 torpedo hits, 1 citadel, 1 flood. So, good amount of damage there done to the Baltimore. So, we've done some good. We've actually hit something. So, that's effectively our job done. That's submarine gameplay, ladies and gentlemen. That's effectively it. Now, we're detected for a few moments there. And can't see what's actually detected us. So I would say it's another submarine, and you can see that little bloop that comes up. That's an enemy sonar ping. So we know that there's an enemy submarine around. So let's go back to diving. There's the enemy torpedoes. So let's get on to this, shall we? The Vladivostok's just got Vladivostoked by another Vladivostok. So we are going to get underwater, and as you can see, the underwater world looks pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty good. So we found an enemy U-190 over there. So we're very close to it. So we send out a ping, and going to fire our torpedoes off here. Probably a little bit too close, and we're a little bit too high, so we sort of don't really get any advantage here, so we just miss our target completely. This is one aspect of the submarines that's kind of cool. So, we're going to go for a ram. Ramming speed! We go into its conning tower, and we end up causing ourselves more damage than we caused it. But we're still alive, I guess. And we're now kind of stuck. So we're now stuck next to each other. And there's not really much we can do in this situation. Just sit here and enjoy each other's company, really. We can get some sonar pings, I guess. And we are flooding it still, I think. So that's something. So, yeah. Submarine gameplay, eh? It's pretty, pretty good. So we start backing off here. And I forget that we've got butt torpedoes. So I should have really just gone full throttle forwards and just decided to, you know, use my butt torpedoes on him. Unfortunately, forgetting about that aspect was a major mistake, because of course he also has butt torpedoes. And we get hit by one. Luckily though, we survive. And now we're going to make this guy pay. So this is submarine on submarine combat. As you can tell, it's very engaging. Very exciting stuff. We've managed to get a ping on this guy. We've managed to get a lock on him at least. Trying for the double lock, but we don't need to, as our torpedoes hit. And that is the end of the submarine. Now, the one thing I would say is I feel like if a submarine gets hit by a torpedo while submerged, I feel like one torpedo should do the job. Yes, I know that it needs to be sort of gamey-wise to make it a little bit more effective, but it's just a little bit too... They feel a little bit weak, the torpedoes, sometimes. I mean, you know, explosions underwater, the force is magnified, and, you know, a submarine underwater hits by a torpedo, it's kind of screwed. Anyway, what I want to point out now is actually the end of the match. There's an enemy U-190 over in the yonder distance, and if I can remember the camera controls, which I can't, I don't think I can switch. I don't think I can actually switch out of here. Anyway, so we're kind of stuck in this position. Anyway, the enemy submarine is over there. The Prince Eugen has gone around because I don't think the Prince Eugen actually has any anti-torpedo systems. So it's kind of just useless and can't do anything unless that submarine, you know, gets out of the water. The friendly U-190 is trying to get its torpedoes off on the enemy U-190, who's currently sitting in next to a bit of scenery. So we're kind of in this position where we can't do anything, and that submarine can't do anything, and no one can do anything other than our friendly submarine. Now, luckily, our friendly submarine sends off 4 torpedoes, gets a hit on the U-190, doesn't kill it, so yay, but luckily it's forcing that enemy submarine to surface. So he's going to have to surface, and now he's going to get pummeled by friendly ordnance. And that is the end of that match. So let's head to the post-battle screen results. Okay, so that's the submarine battle over and done with. Yay. Yeah. So submarines, they're kind of a bit boring, in all honesty. That's the best way I can put it. I mean, obviously, I think in like an actual full game, they might have a little bit more fun to them. They might be a little bit more interesting or have a little bit more substance to them. But as it stands, they just seem incredibly dull and unfulfilling. Um, so we had a good match. We finished second in the team there. We got one kill and quite a lot of damage, 34,000 damage. Ooh, wow. Um, but you can't really do much more than that. I mean, you don't have any AA defense. You don't have any. Well, you got secondaries technically. Let's just head back to port to see some of them. So this is the U-19 tier, of course, the tier 7, 8. Terrible. I hate Roman numerals so much. You'd think after like 5 years I would have learnt to have read them. Anyway, but they're just kind of meh. There's not much to them really. U-2501, of course, the most advanced, well, submarine of the Second World War. Just the first sort of electric, amazing vehicle. Again, it's fine. It's not anything groundbreaking. And then, of course, we have the U-69, giggity, which does have a secondary gun to it. You got a 76mm, I think it is. 88mm. 88mm. Why do I think 76? That's the American, isn't it? And I think that's 75mm anyway. But you've got the 88mm, but you don't have any anti-air, despite having the 30mm on the back. And same goes for the U-190, where you've got the twin 20mm and the twin 30mm. So 37mm, sorry. 37mm. God, it's morning if you couldn't tell. I've not had enough coffee, obviously. But you can't use those AA guns for anything. It would be interesting to actually have those guns working and actually be able to use them, because the 20mm, again, for AA defense, that's kind of what they were for. They were dual purpose weaponry systems. The American submarines, we have the Ballo class, of course, which go on to become the Guppy class. And for some reason, it's actually depicted in World of Warships in its 1943 configuration, which is not right, because that's a Guppy, at least a Guppy 1, if not a Guppy 2. So, just quickly showing you here, if we look, this is the original Guppy, just in the left-hand corner here, you'll be able to see, that's the USS Batfish in its original Ballo configuration. That's what it should look like. And as you can see, this is a Guppy, which we have handily modelled by the Torsk. So the Torsk here, which was Guppy conversion, you can see even down to the little glass bubble on top. So yeah, for some reason they've done the Guppy version instead of the Ballo version. So yeah, not sure why they still claim it's the Ballo. So yeah, World of Warships, you might want to fix that one and say. And then you get the Salmon. Okay, so we've settled on that point that that's definitely a Guppy. Salmon. So this is your World War II style submarine, and of course you do have artillery. So you've got 102mm on the stern. So you do have a secondary gun. But why no anti-air? It just makes no sense not to have anti-air on there. And then, of course, we've got the Cachalot as well. So the Cachalot as well has the 76mm. Yay, finally, 76mm. And again, it has the, I think it's 50 caliber on the deck. What was that? It's like a water-cooled 50 caliber, doesn't it? Or it might just be protection for submersion, maybe? It does look like a water cooling jacket. Anyway, I'm mumbling on for no apparent reason here. But you've got the different submarines, and it's just weird that they don't have the anti-air devices, the anti-air guns working on them. You'd think they would have at least some anti-air defense. Beautiful model work as always. The guys and girls and the modeling team have done a fantastic job. Okay, before we go, we'll do a quick run. We'll do a quick live gameplay in a submarine. We'll take out the. let's take out the catchlot, shall we? Shall we take out the... No, let's take out the catchlot. Let's take out the lowest tier submarine. So we'll take out the baby submarine for a run and see how this goes. So submarine gameplay, as I said, it's just really not... It might not be for me, obviously, but they just don't seem to have much utility for a team, and I feel like they just don't serve much purpose. They're just going to be very annoying towards the end of the game, and it's going to be very annoying, especially if you're in, say, like a German battleship where you have no anti-submarine warfare capabilities. You're going to be very much screwed. Oh, great, we have lots of destroyers in this match. That's good. We have 3 ships that we can effectively destroy and a CV. Okay, so this is going to be a terrible game. The fact that we have no AA defense is, it just makes no sense, really. I feel like they should have at least bad AA, if anything. And they're just, I don't know, submarines just don't seem to have any real value other than gimmick to them. You know, they're very gimmicky. Like, they've got great gimmick to them, which is World of Warships' main selling point at the moment, is just gimmicks. But they don't really have any strategic value. I guess you could use them as a good scouting ship, but you don't get much scouting bonus for them, you know, things like that. The American gimmick, by the way, is enhanced rudder gears and consumable action times, reload times, stuff like that. So, you know, like, sorry, not reload times, enhanced diving and, well, enhanced dive speed, basically. So gimmick-wise, the Germans, of course, they have longer times for their underwater ability. The Americans just have, you know, better turning. One of the things I do like is the fact that your view range is atrocious, so you can barely see anything. Even when something's spotted, you can hardly see it. So that's a good thing. So we've got a cruiser, we've got a destroyer, and we know we've got a battleship over on this side. So I might see if I can swing around this island. Again, there's not much point really in doing too much in co-op, because unfortunately, because you're fighting against bots, there's no real strategic value to swinging around an island and trying to actually sneak places, because generally everything's dead before you get there. Luckily, we have got a lot of bots on our side, but that does mean they're just going to throw themselves against the enemy. As we've just noticed with the Minikazes there, they've just basically sailed past each other because, you know, bots in World of Warships. So luckily that Minikaze is just sat there. Hopefully that can get destroyed. We'll try and go up against that New York. We'll see if we can chase and hunt down that New York and see if we can get some live action gameplay here. But as I said, like, you don't really get a great idea of how submarines are going to play in live, because the co-op gameplay, it just doesn't really suit submarines, you know? It's not really going to suit submarine gameplay. Got that Omaha coming up over there. Let's see if we can get some surface torpedoes on target. And it's already dead. Great. So, see, that's what I mean. Like, you don't really get much, much in the way of seeing how things actually play out, because generally things are over way before you can even get into combat. So we've got that New York over there. go down to periscope depth.
Our victory is in sight.
So our torpedoes should be tracking somewhat. 2 hits. Now, obviously, not in an ideal position here. So ideally, we'd be side on to this guy. So we're going to need to actually maneuver a little bit. And hope this guy starts turning away from us so we can get our butt torpedoes off. Okay. And he's turning into us again. God damn it. Piss off. Okay, that guy's turning away now, so let's see if we can... Now he's turned in the opposite direction. So we should get a decent lock on here to that New York. So that should at least give us a couple of hits, and we get 2 citadels. So again, we get 2 citadels, but it's not a huge amount of damage, in all honesty. It's just, you know... Again, it's... Obviously, we're not in an ideal position here. So again, we should get some good hits here on that New York. Let's start diving away. And the game's over. So, yeah. That's submarine gameplay for you. So, yay. How exciting and engaging was that, ladies and gentlemen? Like, you know, look at that. That was so much fun, wasn't it? 5 torpedo hits, 3 citadels, 39,000 damage. Obviously, we weren't side on, but it gives you a bit of an idea. I mean, when you actually look at the torpedoes, for instance, so if we look at the torpedoes on Cashlot, damage-wise, they have got a ridiculously good amount of damage for them. You know, they can do a decent amount of damage, but it's, you know, say we're going up against California, you know, 58,000 damage, 35% damage, torpedo reduction. You know, there are things to it, and it just makes it so it's just very, as I said, it's not very engaging. The whole thing is really quite dull, and it's not exactly a gameplay, a game mode or a ship that is exciting and engaging to play in. It's very much a bit of a snore fest. And I feel like that's everything everybody said about torpedoes. So about submarines so far, is they are just a bit boring, and they're not much else, and they're not much fun to fight against either. And that's one of the other big things, is when you're actually fighting against them, they're incredibly boring to fight against as well. You just sail over it in a destroyer, drop depth charges, or wait for it to surface. That's your 2 options, and just doesn't really add much to the game. It's not adding anything new and exciting. That's what you've got to say. Anyway, I hope you've kind of, I don't know, enjoyed this video. Let me know below what you think of submarines and things like that. And I will see you all again soon. This is me, Carl Screezilla, wishing you all the best. Bye-bye.